invitamos a nuestro primer keynote speaker, el doctor William Ballhaus, quien nos dirigirá unas palabras, para lo cual solicito al doctor Marcelo de Vincenzi, presidente del Congreso, para que realice la presentación pertinente. Doctor.
Gracias, Edelmar. A partir de ahora lo que vamos a hacer, vamos a hablar en inglés, así que tal como decía Edelmar al comienzo, en el fondo, abajo en la pantalla, ustedes tienen un botón que se llama interpretación. Ahí pueden elegir su idioma para poder hacer la traducción simultánea. Hello, Dr. Bill Ballhaus. It's a pleasure to have you here. I know that you have to wake up very early in order to be with us, but we are very glad and honored to have you at the Congress.
Thank you, Marcelo. It's absolutely a pleasure for me to be here, so thank you for having me.
Okay, if you allow me, I would like to formally present you, introduce you to the audience. Dr. Ballhaus, he's a CEO of Blackboard. Blackboard is a company that is listed in NASDAQ stock exchange. Is a leading provider of business software applications and related systems services to education industry company in technology of education worldwide since 1997. It serves 19,000 clients and it has a presence in more than 100 countries. It's the site #1 in access for online education with 100 million accesses. If we talk about William Ballhaus, he's actually right now the chairman and the chief executive officer and president of Blackboard. Prior to join Blackboard in 2016, Bill was the president and CEO of SRA International. He was responsible for enhancing the company portfolio in cybersecurity, cloud computing, mobilization, agile system development, ERP, and data analytics. Previously, he was the president and CEO of DynCorp International, a global government service provider. He also held as a senior leadership for position at BAI System and Boeing, leading the global technologies businesses. Bill has received several recognitions. Like, for example, in 2009, he was named among the Forbes most powerful CEOs for 40s and under. In 2015, he was named for the Executive Mosaic Watch 100 list for the most influential leader in government contracting. In 2016, he was awarded a distinguished Engineering Alumni Medal by UC Davis for his outstanding professional achievements and distinguished service to the engineering community. Most recently, Bill was named one of the top 50 SaaS CEOs of 2017 by the SaaS report, and he's a fellow of American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics and currently serves as UCLA Anderson School of Management Board of Advisors and Great Medal Foundation Board of Directors. About his education, he holds a bachelor's degree in science and mechanical engineering for the University of California at Davis. He earned a master's in science. He also holds a PhD of aeronautics and astronautics from Stanford University, and as well a master's degree and MBA from UCLA. Now, Bill, I'll turn to you to start your presentation on delivering personalized experiences for learning, and then we'll continue with our conversation.
Okay, gracias, Marcelo, y gracias para hablar en inglés. Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you, and thank you again for having me. I'm joining you today from Northern Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C. And today I'd like to invite you to go on a journey with me during our time together. We'll step outside of the world of education and we'll explore our lives in retail, entertainment, and in healthcare, and take a look at how personalization has permeated our lives as digital citizens. Then after our exploration, we'll come back to education to think about what personalization means for learning. Accelerated by the COVID-19 crisis, we're at an inflection point in the learning experience. Many of the personalized capabilities that have seemed so far off in the distance are now right around the corner. Now, I joined Blackboard almost 5 years ago, inspired by the opportunity to help lead the next wave of EdTech innovation. Blackboard is a leading education technology company supporting over 150 million learners, parents, educators, and administrators in every region of the world. With our global footprint, our powerful technologies, and our education expertise, we're uniquely positioned to lead the industry to a personalized experience. Now, this journey to personalization is critically important because we believe that learner success at scale is achieved through a personalized user experience. Our mission is to advance learning. It's in service of learners, educators, and institutions. All of you here today, helping you meet your goals today and prepare for tomorrow. So now that you know a little bit about me and Blackboard, let's embark on that journey. Like most technology companies, we track what's taking place in other industries, both to inspire our own innovation and also to help us anticipate learner, educator, and administrator expectations. So let's reflect for a minute on the path to personalization in retail. Now, I grew up with the traditional retail experience, brick and mortar shopping that required me to visit a store near my home during business hours and select from in-stock products. And as home internet connections became more common in the 90s and early 2000s, the digitization of the shopping experience began evolving. Enhancements like Amazon's one-click checkout, patented in 1997 and licensed to other online resellers like Apple in 2002, made online shopping easier than ever before. Yelp, founded in 2004, forever changed our expectations around how easy it should be to find reviews. And as more people started to shop online, data aggregation began. And this data aggregation led to the ability to create personalized experiences in retail. Now, by personalized, I mean proactive nudges, just for me, from the companies where I shop. Think about Instacart, founded in 2012, putting items in my cart for me based on my past shopping habits. Now, they even send me a push notification that I get on my Apple Watch, reminding me to buy milk before I even run out. Now, this is truly customer-first retail. My life is easier. I can focus on other things because these personalized experiences save me time and save me money. And the journey continues. In 2019, Alibaba rolled out a new architecture that leverages AI to power personalized recommendations. And this is an area that we continue to watch very closely. Now let's take a look at entertainment. And the story here is similar to what we observed in retail. Rigid schedules are enhanced through technologies like DVRs in the early 2000s, and 5 to 10 years later, streaming services enable even more flexibility for viewers and unlock data aggregation at scale. And soon after, we see profiles on most streaming services creating customized experiences for each user, even within the same household. And just like in retail, personalization is still being innovated in entertainment. Apple, Hulu, Netflix, all use their data insights, not just to prioritize content for each user, but also to create new content. Now, as we turn to healthcare, see a similar trend arise yet again. We saw an uptick in the adoption of digital tools in healthcare between 2010 and 2020. A 2015 Nielsen study showed that 28% of Americans were using a patient portal, a 13-point increase from the previous year. And while patient portal use enabled patient and physician communication, it also enabled data aggregation. And a study of this aggregate data revealed that email communication between physician and patient was linked to better health outcomes. And this is a very powerful finding. Patient portals also put lab and test results directly into the hands of patients for self-review and easy sharing with other providers. And now, a new generation of personalized patient portals can send us notifications when lab results are ready, send nudges for visits based on best practices for screening, and enable patients to communicate directly with doctors and nurses. Patients have joined their own care team, empowered to participate in the process and be informed by data insights. And the research proves that this behavior leads to better outcomes. Now let's take our journey back to education. In addition to trends around us, we also need to think about the learners we are serving today. Generation X has lived this full personalization transformation. Millennials began to enter adulthood in the midst of the enhanced phase in retail and entertainment. So while they may remember the transition, they largely expect personalization. Gen Z started to enter higher education in the last 5 years. Likely doesn't remember a retail experience that isn't personalized. These three generations, though, sit side by side in today's student body. The mix of expectations underscores the needs for personalized learning at scale to support the diverse needs of each generation. Looking at the model again, education has remained in the enhanced phase for a long time. Now, we've certainly come a long way from the traditional experience. As home internet connections became widespread in the early 2000s, online programs began to serve new populations. Between 2003 and 2013, online student enrollment increased for 10 consecutive years. Innovation and expanded offerings continue today. In 2019, Syracuse University launched the United States' first fully accredited online law program. So here in 2020, what can we learn from these other industries? Well, from retail, we take the concept of push notifications, the anticipation of needs, and the simplicity of the experience. From one-click shopping to pre-populated shopping carts, the learning experience should be this easy. From entertainment, we take the idea of data-informed content creation. Imagine a world where educators can use content that they know leads to the right learning outcomes for the unique students in their class. And from healthcare, we observe that a focus on the patient leads to improved outcomes. Just as students joining their own healthcare teams, students are partnering with their educators and institutions to drive their own success. We define personalization in learning as educators and institutions providing learners with an experience that enables their individual success. And this common focus on learner success, supercharged by the data to help us drive it, provides a powerful opportunity to advance learning. Now, here's where things really get exciting. As a global education community, we've been moving in this direction for 2 decades. Many of our clients were leading digital transformations across their campuses long before 2020. Institutional plans to enable virtual learning at scale weren't hatched because of COVID-19. It's just that the implementation was sped up as circumstances required it. And we know that this is not a temporary shift. The use of digital technologies for learning is here to stay, both to enable fully virtual courses and complement face-to-face programs. And suddenly, we have access to the aggregated data we need to personalize learning. These data points on the slide are a snapshot of the scale of the data we've been able to aggregate in 2020. We've cataloged billions of interactions inside our learning management system and virtual classroom solutions, millions of downloads of alternative content types, and thousands of student support interactions. COVID-19 enabled us to build on data from all learners, not just the subset of learners that were using digital technologies prior to the COVID-19 crisis. So, with access to the data needed to bring this personalized, learner success focused vision to life, we can now bring together the essential components. Just like in other markets, it starts and it ends with data. It's not about highlighting grades, test scores, and performance data in every interface. It's about creating products and services that leverage data from disparate sources in a way that identifies latent patterns and visualizes these patterns and insights for learners, educators, and administrators. It also leverages these insights in our own innovation. We pair these insights with the ability to take meaningful action inside our products and our solutions. In our unique position as education technology leaders, and focusing on the education for a moment, we believe that learning science is a critical component in how we innovate. Our work is grounded in learning methodologies and pedagogy so that we can be the partner educational institutions need us to be. We also believe that AI, machine learning, automated solutions, and partner integrations are critical components of innovation that deliver the personalized experience for learning. And this all comes to life through the user experience. This experience takes a whole student approach, thinking about much more than academics. For students to meet their goals, they need support inside and outside the classroom. They must be able to self-pace and access individualized instruction and content in a way that works for their unique needs. They need nudges, outreach, and access to solutions that help them stay on track. Younger students need parents not to just be informed, but to be engaged. And we believe that this approach can help learners realize their goals at a new scale. And by focusing on a common goal of learner outcomes, educators and institutions are empowered to achieve their goals as well. And just like we saw in all three of the other industries we observed, personalization is not the end goal. We're on a path of continuous improvement. We'll continue to bring new capabilities to market to help drive learner success. As you can tell, we are committed to delivering a personalized experience driven by data. Personalization has influenced product and solution design in every aspect of our portfolio. For example, as learners shifted to remote learning, we saw a 36% increase in inbound questions to institutions from students. There was a clear and sustained need to connect students with services designed to support them. So we built a feature inside our learning management system that does just that, connects learners with the services institutions provide just for them. Since March 2020, we've seen a massive uptick in school-to-home communications for our K-12 clients. In response, we expanded our community engagement solution to include a secure two-way communication tool between teachers and parents to better enable learner success through personalized communications. We learned that 85% of institutions were struggling to scale up resources to support increased demand. So we built a chatbot that leverages AI to enable student support at scale. We noticed record-breaking rates of alternative format downloads, electronic braille, Beeline Reader, EPUB, HTML, tagged PDFs. With this information in mind, we expanded our accessibility tools functionality to work on our mobile app, so students can access the content they need no matter where they are learning. We are the only EdTech company able to support this approach to personalization, gathering data insights from across the student journey and quickly delivering learner success-focused innovations. We bring this approach to market in something that we call the learning experience ecosystem. It's a holistic solution for driving a personalized experience fueled by data. And through the learning experience ecosystem, we enable educators, administrators, and learners to access personalization and improve learning outcomes. Now, data is the foundation of the ecosystem, informing functionality, features, and development. Our work is grounded in data in much more than a conceptual way. It's the backbone of our platform approach, and we've been building this foundation for some time. As you may know, we've been on a journey to move all of our technologies to the cloud, and this is exactly why. It hasn't been a transition to SaaS as an end goal. It's to enable the innovation required to bring personalization to market and drive improved learner outcomes. Now, sitting on top of the data are capabilities, the application of this data in the technologies and solutions we provide to our clients. And on top of this is the personalized experience, where the rubber meets the road. It's how learners, educators, and institutions experience our products and solutions. The data gathered through the personalized experience, like the 25 billion interactions in our learning management and virtual classroom systems that I mentioned earlier, feedback into our data foundation, informing what's next in our product and our solution development. And this continuous improvement approach is critical to driving learner success today and tomorrow. So now let's go on another adventure. Imagine a very near-term future with me. Calvin, a second-year student, is getting an alert. He hasn't attended his synchronous courses in 2 weeks. His learning management system sends an alert to him, notifying him that he's not on track to meet his personal goals. At the same time, Calvin's success coach is notified. So Calvin's success coach gives him a call. He makes an action plan. In this two-way collaboration, Calvin is informed of resources he can use, like the Writing Center and virtual tutoring. While Calvin owns his own learning plan, the success coach lets him know that she will be calling weekly to check in on his progress. And the success coach shares the plan with Calvin's university and instructors. Now, triggered by the alert that Calvin is falling behind, additional video content is automatically added to his coursework based on insights that he prefers video over reading and auditory content. Push notification lets him know about the video. He clicks in, watches, and then bookmarks it to watch it again later. His instructor is notified that Calvin is taking action, taking advantage of the additional resources. Calvin gets an alert. It's time to tune in for his live tutoring session. Directly from his mobile device, Calvin connects with a tutor for a 45-minute session. After putting in the work, Calvin is notified that he's back on track to meet his goals. His instructors and institution are notified as well. We define the impact of personalization in education as educators and institutions providing learners with personalized experiences that enable their individual success. And delivering on this vision is not far away. It's just around the corner, and at Blackboard, we're excited to bring it to life. Thank you for your time today. Marcelo, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Bill. It's an exceptional presentation. This is a very promising future that lies ahead. But meanwhile, you develop your presentation, some question occurs to me, and I was writing here. Like, for example, what differentiates Blackboard from others in the market, particularly as we look towards the next phase of education tech innovation?
Well, you know, as we think ahead and we think about the next wave of innovation in EdTech, and particularly harnessing data in order to transform the user experience for students and for educators and administrators, and create a more personalized experience like I just walked through. We believe that we're uniquely poised to be the company that's harnessing data to transform the user experience. Most of the other ed tech companies in the space are niche product providers. They might provide one product like a virtual classroom or an LMS or an SIS. And through our EdTech platform approach, where we deliver a breadth of capabilities that are underpinned by a data platform, we're uniquely positioned to seamlessly and elegantly collect data from across our clients' ecosystems in order to inform a more personalized user experience. We've looked at other industries, as you heard, and tried to identify what were the key breakthroughs that led to the transformation of the user experience. And there were really two. One was reaching critical mass where all users engaged on the digital platform. You think about in retail, once users started to get comfortable and engage on a digital platform, it then became possible to aggregate the data, get insights, and personalize the experience. Same thing is true in education. And while we've been digitizing as an industry for a couple decades, not all users have engaging in the platform. And so without critical mass of engagement in the digital platform, it's very difficult to start to aggregate data to get real meaningful insights. But think about what happened with COVID-19. Immediately, essentially, all users in education were engaging in a digital platform. That's an acceleration that's irreversible. So that's one critical step that has happened that now puts education on the path to transformation in a personalized experience. The second major breakthrough that happened in each of those industries was a player leading the industry in the ability to harness the data, starting first with aggregating it. So not enough for digital engagement. The exponential creation of data is an opportunity, but it doesn't guarantee the ability to transform the user experience. That requires a capability to aggregate that data, and most importantly, the right data. And for us, to personalize the experience for students, it starts with the rich data in teaching and learning in those workflows. And so knowing that those two capabilities needed to be in place, we've focused for the last few years as we've transformed our technology to the cloud to not just think about moving our products to the cloud so that they're cloud-based and have a modern user experience. We've been focused on our very long-term vision of transforming the user experience, which requires a data aggregation capability. And so while we've been moving our products to the cloud, we've also been architecting our solutions so that all of our products are underpinned by this data platform, which is now collecting, aggregating, and securing data from across our clients' ecosystems that's necessary to personalize the experience. And personalizing the experience and transforming it is going to happen over time. And nobody is smart enough to predict today what that's going to look like over time. But we know two things needed to happen: users engaging in a digital platform and collecting the data in order to transform the experience. And so we focused on putting that capability in place. So now we can start the process of innovating and personalizing the user experience. So what differentiates us, it's not just our cloud platform, but the fact that it's underpinned by a data platform so that we can drive the personalization of the experience. I don't think any other player in the world in education technology has that capability.
Thank you, Bill. So if we see Blackboard, what do we have expect, or how innovative, what are innovative things Blackboard is doing today, and what innovative things we expect from Blackboard in the future?
So I can't answer that question without mentioning data right at the beginning of the question. I mentioned the data platform. that we put in place, and it's available for all of our clients that are in the cloud. That data platform is in place. We have just released what we call the Blackboard Data Reporting Stack, which creates visualization so that institutions like yours can get insights into how users are engaging with the products. Now we've got our next stack coming out in the fall, which gives insights into things like, are my students engaged? How are they engaging across products? How is that correlating with results? How are my educators doing? Are they using the tools, and are their students engaging, and how does that correlate with results? And how are my programs doing across the institution so that I can make good decisions around where to invest and where I need to focus in a little further? So that's coming up just in the next few weeks. It's called Blackboard Achieve, leveraging our data platform. One more that I'm really excited about. It's called Blackboard Assist, and this will be embedded in the Blackboard application and user experience for our LMS clients. Oh. But what it provides, and this gets to the example that I mentioned in my overview around data insights based on a holistic picture of the student and nudging them when we start to see patterns that are not looking like they correlate with success. With Blackboard Assist, we're bringing together support that you may have at your institution and partners for content and services like wellness and tutoring, so that happening with the student that may look like they're faltering, we can nudge them to this resources when they need them on their mobile devices so that they know they're there, they can choose to access them and help them along in their student journey. It's called Blackboard Assist. It's coming out over the next several weeks. And you can see my enthusiasm because for the last few years, we've been working on the infrastructure or the plumbing to enable this innovation to touch users. Now we're in the early stages of delivering innovations, leveraging that plumbing and infrastructure that really will make a difference in the lives of students. And that's what we focus on every day when we wake up. So we're excited that we're at a place where that innovation is now becoming evident to your institution, to your students and your educators.
So that what you said is we were very eager to see those advances. But what you said it leads me to another question. Like, for example, how do you see the personalization in education unfolding?
It's a tricky question because I don't think I'm smart enough to know exactly how that's going to happen. I mean, who would have predicted in retail how things would have unfolded from the early days when Amazon started selling books online to where we are today and the personalized experience that exists, or in entertainment? You know, who would have ever thought that we would move from a world where we had 3 or 4 television stations that pre-programmed content would show up at fixed times to now we're exposed to content we didn't even think we would be interested in at any time of day. So I think it's impossible to predict how it will unfold. However, there is low-hanging fruit. There's low-hanging fruit in front of us right now where we can get insights into students, their behaviors, how it correlates with grades. As I mentioned, nudge them, move them in certain directions, elevate for them personalized content, better engage the educators, their advisors, and the students together as a team to keep everybody informed on the student progression. I know that in the very near term, technologies like AI and machine learning are extremely relevant because that's really the key to get insights. So as we think about this progression, at least the way we think about it, it started with digitization, then aggregating the data. Now we're in the process of applying technologies like AI and machine learning in order to get insights. And then we can figure out how to most effectively take advantage of those insights to drive better outcomes. Again, whether it's to elevate them in visualizations and reports for educators, or to elevate them in the user experience on a mobile device, or to nudge students. So it's unclear exactly how it will unfold. I think that's the themes around the progression, but we're just excited to engage and take the steps forward and start making progress.
You talk about the importance of data as a foundation of a personalized experience in education. So how is Blackboard collecting data, and how we as an institution, we're going to be able to use it in a meaningful way?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I have to say is data security and data privacy are extremely important to us, and they're at the center of how we design our products. I also want to say very clearly up front, we aren't in the business of commercializing the data and trying to make money off of the data like commercial companies do, where they grab data across social media and other forums, and that becomes a big revenue stream for us. That is not at all our business model or anything that we're remotely interested in. You own the data. You own your students' data. We want to be there as a facilitator for you to get insights out of that data so that your institution can meet your goals and your students can progress along their education journey. So from a philosophy standpoint, that's the center of our philosophy. It's your data. We take it very seriously. We design privacy and security into our solutions. We follow very high standards like the EU GDPR standards and apply those globally. And as I said, we only use the data as instructed and allowed by you.
Okay, so actually you answered the other question that I have, because I was about to ask you about how to ensure the privacy and the security of the student as the data grows. So you want to add a little bit about that, or you're okay with that?
No, I'm okay with that. I think that's it is at the end of the day, when it comes to data, the protection of it and the security is the most important thing. And we take that very seriously.
Okay, great. So if we look ahead, what is the greatest impact that the COVID pandemic will have on education on the long term? What do you think?
It's interesting. And actually, Marcel, I'm interested in your views on this, but the industry has been progressing for decades. The digitization of education has been happening for a long time. I would say there's been some inertia that has kept the digitization from emerging even faster. And I think that's typically associated with users having some reluctance to engaging with technology. And, that's completely understandable. We're not all as comfortable using technology as, especially as the young generation that's coming up who are very comfortable with it. So there has been some reluctance. But what we saw with COVID-19, as I mentioned, is essentially this structural shift and acceleration in the adoption of technology with all users engaging in the digital platform. And just to dimension it a little bit, I mentioned the fact that we have now billions of interactions weekly in our LMS. The use of our virtual classrooms went up by a factor of like 50 times in each region around the world, pre-COVID versus post-COVID. So I think the big structural shift as it relates to COVID is the digital adoption accelerating. And if you look at most other industries, any other industry, once digital adoption is accelerated, it doesn't go backward. We're not going backward to less use of technology. We're only moving forward. And that just creates a world of opportunity for us.
That's great. So as institutions around the world, we're forced to move to a remote instructions as a result of a COVID-19 pandemic. Many instructors were prepared, and some others, they were unprepared for teaching. Most of them, they are unprepared for teaching on their online environment. So how can Blackboard's role is helping us to instruct our teachers in order to provide quality instructions for the students. How Blackboard can help us?
Yeah, it's a great question, and we saw immediately a real need for this, a real educators who either needed assistance in adopting the technology or assistance with instructional design using the technology. It's not just getting on the technology, but how to effectively teach with the technology, because it's very different. There are totally new opportunities created, but it takes some experience and some assistance in order to really take advantage of those opportunities. And for us at Blackboard, this is where we're not just a leading cloud software company in education. We're also an education company. And so where there's an opportunity for us to engage with the community and address a need, we're going to jump in and do it. And so early on into the pandemic, we started launching blog posts, webinars, courses for educators on instructional design. We created a web page with best practices that's been viewed close to 300,000 times. And that's just a way for us to be a partner to the community to ensure that where there's a need, we're maximizing the impact that we can have. That's not associated with us selling software. That's just associated with us being a partner with the community, advanced learning. That's our mission. That's why we exist.
This is great. Not being only the provider of the software, but being an education company. So let me ask you the last question, because we are wrapping up this. There are many predictions about the grim outlook of higher education, given that the many changes in society right now. Probably we are some of them, or some of us, they think that probably most of the institutions, they won't be up to date or up to understand and to change quickly enough in order to get together and unfold all the expectations that the education will have for us. So what are the outlooks for higher education for you? What are your expectations? How do you think it's going to be the unfolding of this?
Marcelo, and you and I have talked about this before. I don't think about the grim outlook. I think about the opportunity. Think about the opportunity, especially with the group that we have here. And you know that I spend a lot of time in Latin America, and I'm familiar with the challenges and opportunities in Latin America. The big opportunity to leverage technology to educate millions of first-generation higher ed institution students at scale and provide a quality education, that's there. That's an opportunity for all of us in this session. How we can leverage technology to come up with new and innovative ways to educate at scale with quality. It's the opportunity for, a leapfrog effect. Now, you talked about my background. I spend time in a variety of industries, and one common theme that I've seen in those industries, whether it was satellite communications back in the 90s or the use of information systems and technologies like cloud computing, et cetera, is the opportunity to transform business models, to transform the value proposition, and for users, individuals or institutions, to leapfrog what is currently thought of as state of the art. And so I think the opportunity here, especially with this acceleration of technology adoption, is the opportunity to leapfrog forward and for institutions to look at their model, their value proposition for students, the way they use technology, the way they leverage data in order to transform the experience, and with that change their value proposition and create a new world of opportunities for their students and their institutions. So I don't think about the grim outlook. I think about the opportunity, but it takes change. It takes leadership. It takes vision in order to take advantage of the opportunities. But that's what I'm so excited about. And that's what I see as the opportunity for all of us, is to jump in, lean in, commit to this transformation and the opportunity to leverage data to create a fundamentally different experience for students and educators. And with that, meet some real challenges in education, like educating millions of first-generation participants in order to maximize our impact on society. That, to me, is a fantastic opportunity and one of the reasons why I enjoy so much having the opportunity to work at Blackboard.
Thank you, Bill. I liked your optimistic point of view that we share. I share personally, and we share as an institution. We enjoyed your presentation very much and the conversation that we have had. And I would like to formally invite you for next year, like I said at the beginning, on the 30th of September to our 19th International Congress on Information Technology Innovation on the 2021 to evaluate prediction of technological advances on online education. We probably, as you said, we will talk about virtual reality, another type of immersive technologies in LMS, or maybe a software tutor integrated machine learning, IoT, and artificial intelligence. I don't know. The future is on our hands, and it depends on us how we take advantage of these opportunities, as you said.
Agreed. Agreed. Well, thank you again for the invitation today. I accept your invitation for next year, and I look forward to participating in person next year. So, Marcelo, thank you very much, and nice to see you. Be safe and stay well.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I ask a round of applause, a digital applause, because we don't have audio, but we're very glad to have you, an honor to have you here. Thank you very much.
The honor is mine. Thank you.
I turn to Edelmar. Edelmar ya puede continuar con el evento. Muchas gracias, Bill.
Muchas gracias, doctor. Muchas gracias realmente a todos los panelistas de este excelente primer bloque de apertura de este congreso. Mientras preparamos entonces ahora a quienes van a ser los panelistas y moderadores del próximo bloque, seguiremos agradeciendo auspicios recibidos, en este caso de universidades nacionales, Universidad Nacional del Sur, Universidad Católica de Córdoba, Universidad Nacional de Quilmes, Universidad del Centro Educativo Latinoamericano, Universidad de Massa, Mendoza, Universidad Siglo XXI y Universidad Adventista del Plata. También auspicios de cámaras del sector tecnológico y asociaciones profesionales y organizaciones no gubernamentales. LIFIA, Laboratorio de Investigación y Formación en Informática Avanzada. LIDI, Instituto de Investigación de Informática. LINTI, Laboratorio de Investigación en Nuevas Tecnologías Informáticas, todos de la Universidad Nacional de La Plata. CASE, Cámara Argentina de Comercio Electrónico. MUG, Microsoft User Group. ADVA, Asociación de Videojuegos de Argentina. Instituto Argentino de Informática Industrial. CLEI, Centro Latinoamericano de Estudios Informáticos. ISTEC, Estados Unidos. ILSE, Instituto Latinoamericano de Comercio Electrónico. Fundación Territorios del Mañana de Francia. Arenotet, Francia. LEILAC, Red the Living Lab y Espacios de Innovación en América Latina y el Caribe, y ASEA, Asociación de Emprendedores de Argentina. También agradecemos los auspicios del sector empresario, Axival, Proyecciones Digitales, Segurred, Revista Innovación, Rosenthal, Locativa, Diario de la Capital de Rosario, Radio One 103.7, ATM, Férix y Sitio Express. A todos nuevamente agradecemos el auspicio recibido, como así también queremos agradecer la presencia de algunas personalidades que me informan que en este momento están conectadas a nuestro congreso. Queremos agradecer a Jessica López, responsable de Relaciones Académicas de IBM, a Alejandra De Carli, de Microsoft Argentina. También agradecer a la doctora Bergonia García Sapirain, de la Universidad de Deusto de España, a la doctora María Caridad Valdés, Universidad de Ciencias Informáticas de Cuba. también a la licenciada Marcela Fernández, directora del Departamento de Ingeniería de Sistemas de UTN Mendoza, al ingeniero Gustavo Loret, decano de la Facultad de Ingeniería de la Universidad Nacional de Jujuy, a la legisladora de la Ciudad de Buenos Aires, licenciada Carolina Estebanera, a la senadora nacional, licenciada Inés Blanc, a Oscar Turquet del MUC, a Jan Williams de la Universidad de Montclair, y también agradecer a las autoridades, a los decanos, a los directores de las distintas carreras de la Universidad Abierta Interamericana, como así también a las autoridades de la Fundación Vanguardia Educativa y sus correspondientes directivos. A todos ellos, muchísimas gracias por estar presente en este inicio del Congreso. Y ahora sí, damos entonces inicio al bloque de emprendedurismo y management de empresas de tecnología informática. Para eso los invito en primer lugar a cambiar nuestro hashtag y a seguirnos por @CITI, #CITI, #emprender. Y ahora participar por un casco de realidad virtual con control remoto Bluetooth, un sitio web 100% bonificado durante un año y 2 cuentas de hosting ilimitados. También les recuerdo que para poder participar y realizar preguntas, podrán escribirlas accediendo al icono de preguntas y respuestas, las cuales serán respondidas al final de cada bloque. Y refuerzo algo que hemos comentado en el chat. Ustedes ya están acreditados al haberse inscrito, haber completado el formulario de inscripción al presente Congreso.